What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, undefeated, newly crowned, undisputed, lightweight, world champion, superstar boxer, Devin "The Dream" Haney, who is now 28 wins, no losses, no draw, 15 wins by way of knockout. He is 23 years of age, 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach. With that said, Devin "The Dream" Haney, he made history this past Saturday when he dominated and defeated former unified lightweight world champion Australian star boxer George Kambosos Jr., winning every single round, pitching a shutout. Dominant performance to become undisputed on foreign soil. He went to Australia June 4th here in the States, June 5th in Australia, and dominated, won every single round. You can make a case every second of every minute of every round, okay? He dominated the fight, and history was made. He was the first undisputed 4 major sanction belt, lightweight, lineal world champion in the history of the sport of boxing. There's been undisputed champions like legendary, retired, late great, iconic, Hall of Fame, superstar boxer, Sweet Pea Pernell Whitaker. He was the last to do so, okay? But that was a 3-belt era. This is a 4-belt era. But not only is Devin Haney making history as far as that goes, Devin Haney is also making history. Devin Haney is the #1 trending athlete and boxer since he won that fight. The #1 trending boxer and athlete since he won that fight. Okay? The next closest search and trending at any sport, right, is UFC. And he surpassed them by a mile, okay? So with that said, it's abundantly clear what Devin Haney has accomplished. It's abundantly clear that Devin Haney's brand, as I told you guys, he introduced his brand to a whole different demographic of fans that now appreciate Devin Haney's skill set and his approach to the sport of boxing. He's garnered some fans from Australia now, okay? The way he carried himself, the way he dominated the fight, he stood on the square, he stayed true to what he stated, and he dominated, okay? And with that said, he's only 23 years of age. Sky's the limit, right? It's only going to get better. It's only going to get bigger. Now there's talks of Devin Haney fighting against 2-time Olympic gold medalist, 3-division world champion, former unified lightweight world champion, Ukrainian superstar boxer, Vasil "High-Tech" Lomachenko, who is 16 wins, 2 losses, no draws, 11 wins by way of knockout, okay? He is 33 years of age, 5'6" with a 68-inch arm reach, okay? So we know that Devin Haney, in order for him to get this fight with George Kambosos, he had to dare to be great, right? And that's exactly what he did. He dared to be great. He signed a multi-contract deal with ESPN, legendary promoter Bob Arum, and Top Rank, okay, in order to secure this fight with George Kambosos Jr., right? So Vasil Lomachenko is 34 years of age, okay, and he's the ace in the hole for Top Rank, okay? He's their darling, to say the least, okay? And so Devin Haney, he signed a multi-fight deal for him to secure this fight. Now, obviously, there was a rematch clause as part of the deal where Devin Haney, he had to have an immediate rematch with George Kambosos Jr. in Australia, okay? But now, ESPN, Top Rank, they don't have any interest in staging a fight in Australia with George Kambosos Jr. again, okay? There's zero interest for that because of the dominating fashion in which Devin Haney, he dominated, George Kambosos Jr., okay? And the fact that they don't have any interest in going to Australia, okay? And they would much rather have, their fighter, their #1 fighter, their ace fighter in Lomachenko get the opportunity to fight for undisputed, because that was his plan from the beginning. Now, it's his fault that it didn't come to fruition, because he moved up to 135. He was dominating in the lower weight classes, okay? He dominated at 126, 130, and he's a champion at 135, right? But at 126 and 130 is where he dominated, right? And he moved up to 35. He became a world champion there, okay? He beat Olympic gold medalist, lightweight, British star title contender Luke Campbell, that Devin Haney was supposed to fight for, okay? And his goal and his plan was to become undisputed at 135. That's a glamour division. 135 is a glamour division in the sport of boxing, okay? There's 4 glamour divisions in the sport of boxing. It's lightweight, 135. It's welterweight, 147. It's middleweight, 160. And as this division goes, the sport of boxing goes, and that's the heavyweight division, the limitless division, okay? As the heavyweight division goes, so goes the sport of boxing, okay? So those are the 4 darling divisions in the sport of boxing. It's the 135 lightweight division, it's 147 welterweight, it's 160 middleweight, and it's heavyweight division, right? And so Lomachenko, being a student of the sport of boxing, being a historian, understands, and a fan of the sport of boxing, understands that, you know, becoming undisputed at 130 and 126 is a great accomplishment. But to do so at 135 in that glamour division speaks even more volumes. And so that was his goal, to set out to do so, was to become undisputed at 135, okay? But the problem is, he leapfrogged Devin Haney, who was supposed to fight Luke Campbell for the vacant WBC title that was vacated by 4-division world champion Mexican superstar boxer Mikey Garcia. You're supposed to have Devin Haney, who was the interim champion, against Luke Campbell for the vacant WBC title. But Lomachenko's star status, the machine he has behind him, Devin Haney is DHP, Devin Haney Promotion, with father, trainer, manager, and CEO Bill Haney. They do it on their own, but the engine of Top Rank is arguably the biggest promotional company in the world and history, okay? They was able to pull some strings, and they got Lomachenko the opportunity to fight Luke Campbell, and it looked like Devin Haney was going to fight the winner. Well, Lomachenko became franchised, okay? Once he became franchised, Devin Haney was elevated to the regular champion, the super champion. Lomachenko, essentially being franchised, vacated his title. He was waiting to unify the belts. You can't win or lose the franchise title. He's waiting to unify the belts. He beat Luke Campbell in August. He was waiting for the IBF showdown between Teofimo Lopez and Richard Comey. Teofimo Lopez knocked out Richard Comey in the second round to become the IBF champion. Okay, and then Lomachenko fought Teofimo Lopez and he lost. Okay, he got outclassed, in my opinion. He lost the first 6-7 rounds. He won 8, 9, 10, and 11 to me, and then he lost 12 big, right? So he lost to Teofimo Lopez. Okay, and with that said, that was his second loss of his career at attempting to be great, because at 126, he attempted to be great in his second fight of his career and lost to Orlando Salido. Okay, now he was successful in the third one against Gary Russell Jr. And here he was attempting to be great again, because if he would have won the fight against Teofimo Lopez, right, he would have been considered undisputed. Why? Because he had the unified belts and he had the franchise title, okay, of the WBC. So he would have been considered undisputed, but you can't win or lose it. It's an acknowledgement of your accomplishments, a trophy, right? But nonetheless, he lost, okay? And then he came back, he fought Richard Comey, Nakatani, and he won those fights, and he's trying to get back into the limelight. But his goal is to become undisputed, and it's ironic that Devin Haney beat him to it, because he could have fought Devin Haney in that gap. Because in August is when he beat Luke Campbell. He stated he wanted to be active, he wanted to stay active, and he was waiting for Teofimo Lopez, Richard Comey. They wasn't fighting till December 14th for that year, which means the winner of that fight wasn't going to be ready till March, April of the following year. So he fought in August, and he said he wanted to be active. So it left the opening for him to fight his mandatory, satisfy two things at one time: satisfy your mandatory and satisfy staying active. But he chose to sit on the shelf, and then he lost to Teofimo Lopez. Oh, with that said, I believe that the Devin Haney's status now, being the #1 trending boxer since his fight, right, and becoming undisputed, creating history. Okay, I told you guys, his brand, his his status is going to go through the roof, and that's exactly what's happening. And so, an opportunity for him. I know a lot of people, they're saying they don't want to see Devin Haney face off against Lomachenko. Lomachenko needs to work his way back into position, so on and so forth. I'm not opposed to it. I like the fight because I like the opportunity for Devin Haney, because again, everybody views Lomachenko as the man to beat. Okay, everybody views Vasyl Lomachenko as a a staple in the lightweight division, right? So with that said, in my opinion, it just makes sense, and it's welcoming for me for Devin Haney to fight Lomachenko for all the high praise he get. Now, he already went across to Australia and created history, went across and did it in Australia. Now you have the opportunity to do so, against somebody who's held in high regards. Love it. You trending as the #1 boxer in the sport, #1 athlete right now since you won against Kambosos. You get an opportunity to fight Lomachenko. He's the darling of the sport of boxing. Although he has 2 losses, it's like he don't have 2 losses, as ESPN tries to tell us when ESPN puts up a poll and they show us that Lomachenko has no losses on his resume when we know he has 2 losses. But the fact that they put up that poll and everybody, even this past Saturday, he fought Richard Coleman and Nakatani, and people act like that is what garnered him to be back in the top pound for pound list. Any other fighter beat Richard Coleman and Nakatani wouldn't garner them to be in the pound for pound list again. But for him, it does. So Devin Haney get the opportunity to fight and beat Lomachenko for his legacy. Love it. And since Top Rank and ESPN, they view it as a fight that they want to make because they don't see no value in Devin Haney going back to Australia, fighting George Kambosos. It's not going to, the intrigue, we saw Devin Haney do it. We saw he's not bothered to go to Australia. Many people, they question maybe not if he can actually beat Kambosos, but can he do it in Australia? Can he get a fair shake? Is the atmosphere and being in hostile territory, is that going to bother him? And he showed it's not. So with that said, we already seen him do it now. Nobody's going to be bothered. And we see the skill set in the ring is different. So nobody wants to be, nobody's going to invest in it. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. But Devin Haney, shouts out to Devin Haney. Congratulations to Devin Haney and Bill Haney. #1 trending boxer in boxing since he won against George Kambosos, an athlete. So that's great news. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV. All one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.